Thank you. Will you take on this? Okay, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
It's great to see everyone. My name is Joyce. I will be on the co-chair, and this is Michael Gross, also the co-chair for the Economic Development and Harlem Piers. So first of all, I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, because I don't know anybody. Not everybody anyway, so that I'll know if we have a quorum or not, okay? All right, so Michael and I are gonna run the meeting, and it's gonna be a great time. As you can see, there's snacks, so you know how food does, right? Brings us all together, okay? So, starting the introduction. My name is Joyce Adumi, as I said. I am the founder and president of New York African Chorus Ensemble. We organize concerts and festivals that helps to break down stereotypes that can lead to hate crimes. Because we bring people from different cultures together to show their art. I also serve as the president of the 30th Precinct County Council. Here again as the co-chair of the council. So I've been away in Nigeria for the past 5 months, but I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael. I am over on 112th Street. I'm a law school student, really interested in sort of housing and local government, and how we can sort of use the law in our local communities to promote development and make sure people are housed. So that's sort of what I'm really passionate about. And it's nice to see a lot of you guys again, and happy to be here.
Mama there?
Oh, please. Hi, I'm Marita John. I've been on the community board since the first C in community, okay? Just about. Okay, I was a original co-chair of this committee. I'm very still involved with economic development and the West Harlem Piers. And that's the best thing that happened to me.
Hi everyone, my name is Layla Hall. Just graduated from Columbia, my master's. Thank you. This is in August, but I said, I'm currently working at Princeton Harlem, just on one actually. But I'm really interested in my so that's my career. And then I first actually at I think it was this meeting back in October.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was way back to that.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry, Layla, I didn't hear because the train was passing for your organization.
Drinks in Harlem on 119.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's anything.
My name is Brito. I'm a Harlem native. I've lived all over, but definitely interested in housing, real estate, and sustainability as well. Yeah, it's my first year.
Janet.
I'm sorry, I didn't go here. I'm sorry, I really didn't hear all the way.
Oh, fine.
Not your first year.
Yeah, it's my first year on the community board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm originally from Harlem.
Okay.
Like Columbia graduates, I graduated from Morehouse College. That's the HBC down.
Okay. Congratulations. There you go. Okay.
And yeah, it's interesting being part of the community. Obviously, I'm originally from here, so I just wanted to figure out different ways to get involved, interested in real estate and everything else. So.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Janet Rodriguez, and I'm the founder and CEO of So Harlem Cultural Industry Incubator. Just finished our 14th year, and I'm also a native of East Harlem. But I live in West Harlem. I've been here for the last 40 years. Okay, so we don't have a quorum, so just call the meeting to attention. Okay. We won't be able to adopt any agenda or minutes, well, we'll go straight to the presentations. So we have Janet Rodriguez, founder and CEO of So Harlem. So maybe I'll stand to the hearing that
I'm a little under the weather, that's why I'm not sick. So. But. So we're a cultural industry incubator, we basically. Incubate creative entrepreneurs, mostly in the fashion industry or related to fashion, like video, photography. And last year, we served about 17 of them, and they've become like a collective. And they also teach, they also mentor, they also coach. So we have training program for younger emerging people, creative entrepreneurs, also in the fashion industry. Which is all geared to creating a workforce to increase the creative economy. So we provide space, great space for a creative person to work in the fashion industry. So we have cutting tables, we have like 18 sewing machines, industrial sergers, ironing stations. We provide them with all sorts of services, from helping them get their websites completed with professional photography, social media. We work with them on all their different platforms and how to make them better. And they provide a unique service, which is they coach younger people and they teach them everything from sewing to design to pattern making. And that's really what, the core things that we do, but we also we've really increased that this past year because we lost so much funding because of the new administration and funders just changing their mind about, as you know, DEI, and more about creating equity in the fashion industry, which has less than 8% of people of color that they can point to that are part of it. So we've lost a great deal of funding, but we tried to increase our services. So our made to measure program, we did the elves costumes for the Broadway show this holiday season. We've done people's weddings, the rehearsal dinner clothing, the wedding clothing. So we have a big recouture program because we're also about sustainability. So a lot of what we create, about 90% of it is from recycled fabrics and textiles that would end up in the landfill. And we repurpose it, we make new designs out of it, and then some people come to us. Because they have like some great garment that maybe doesn't fit them anymore, maybe it's out of style, but it has a lot of meaning. It's an heirloom, their mother, their grandmother passed it down, whatever, and we repurpose it for them. We either make it bigger, smaller, change some fabrics around. And then we also have individualized sewing classes for people who, they don't necessarily want to learn how to sew for a living per se, but they have like a bunch of clothes that they need to know how to hem or put buttons on, or they have a sewing machine that they don't know how to use, right? So those are the different kind of fashion related services that are helping us with our earned income. And we just got a contract today to do the wardrobe. It's a one-woman show, but still for Sally Hemings, who those of you who know she was, and it's gonna be on off Broadway and then hopefully go to Broadway. And we did the Emerald City costumes for the Wiz last year, the year before actually, when they opened on Broadway. And we just do what we gotta do. We keep pivoting, every time the funding world changes, and we do what we know how to do, which is to sew and design and create beautiful things and help young people who have that potential, and even those that don't, but need to put it on their radar and understand what that world is about. So that's so hard.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. I don't know if I missed it, but what's the age bracket of the
16 and up.
16? Okay.
Yeah, insurance below that is just too much for us.
Okay.
And it's totally intergenerational, which is what I really love about it. So you have
from 16-year-olds to 70,
Like,
and everything in between.
There been like grants that you've been able to apply to since losing a lot of the federal funding? Or
Can you repeat that?
have there been grants that you've been able to apply to since losing
Oh,
federal
it's like-
funding?
So hundreds of grants. I mean, I
Okay.
spend 90% of my time doing that.
Okay.
Sure that, yes, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yep, that's what it is, and. You know, we're still waiting to hear from a lot of things, like, we've got a lot of declarations.
Okay.
It's just so competitive.
Yeah.
And everyone has the same problem, so.
Yeah.
We only do what we have money,
Right,
and that's it.
yeah.
So Harlem is funded also in part by. Excuse me, So Harlem is funded in part by West Harlem Development Corporation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a grant from them.
So that's one of the reasons that you're here, so that we can fill out. Form.
Come to the Economic Development Committee meeting because we're really about workforce development and the economy, but we're just using arts and culture to cross to, as an intersection for that commerce.
Mhm.
So sometimes you say, why don't you go to arts and culture? I said, because we don't see ourselves that way. We see ourselves as part of the community's economic development. So if you're wondering, what are you doing here? Understood.
Any more questions?
Maybe someone on Zoom has a question?
Anyone on Zoom have any question for Janet?
No, thank you for your work.
Any comments?
So. When you talk about like the workforce development, do you pair students with, I guess, businesses around New York, is there more so?
It's two ways we end up employing them after they've been trained. And the training could take someone 6 months, it could take another one 3 years.
Oh, okay.
But some of them end up working at So Harlem for one of the designers or the creative entrepreneurs. But some of them actually, a recent one, and this is his first job ever, is working for Bailey. It's a big printing company and he does all the t-shirts and graphics. And it's the first time this young man is making a little over $50,000. And for him, that's a huge, and then one of our designers now became the creative director of Black Smoke, which was a line that Pop Smokes and like so some of them stay in the community, some of them they go down to the garden center and they might big important shop. So it varies. It depends on the individual and the market.
Okay.
Do you guys do outreach to like schools or?
Well, we focus on that person that's not gonna go to college. So we have a lot of community partners that we are, or the person who wants to go to college, but needs a lot of help putting together their portfolio for, let's say, FIT. So it varies, but we definitely work with a lot of partners, have to.
Great work.
Yeah.
And I want to thank Marita, who has been on the community planning board and helped us at the very beginning, 15, 14 years ago.
Just helped a lot of people.
So, all right, last question. So do you have like a pipeline, or like a relationship with the FIT? Or you kind of have a relationship where?
One of our board members is the senior curator at the FIT Museum. We don't have a pipeline per se, but we have, because a lot of the people that we used to work with there have retired, so we're like establishing little relationships with folks who would be interested in bringing in some of the folks who've trained that want to go to FIT. But not a direct, not yet, we're working on it.
Gotcha.
In the absence of any other question, we'll move on to the next presenter.
So I think Dan Sweeney's not able to make it. He'll be at the, executive committee.
Okay.
Um,
Anybody online interested in presenting? I know I didn't get any letter, but you know. give you a
Yes, we are Ladies of Hope Ministries.
Uh-huh.
And
you guys,
if I
you
can
not-
share my screen,
yeah, perfect.
I'm hitting it now. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yep, perfect.
Cool. Okay, do you wanna?
Okay, I'll start. Thank you, everyone, for giving us the opportunity to share the work that we do at the Loam, which is the acronym for the Ladies of Hope Ministries. We work to end poverty. We have an epic vision that works to end poverty and incarceration of women and girls. I founded the organization in 2017 to support women and girls who are impacted by the criminal legal system. Our work quickly expanded to not only people who are presently incarcerated, but also people who are in community that are justice impacted, meaning people who have lived the experience of incarceration themselves, like myself, or people who have loved ones who are incarcerated, work in prisons or jails. Also women who are actively fleeing domestic violence. I should say people, because our work has expanded to offer services to women and men. And also families impacted by the legal system. Our work offers direct service, career development and opportunity, also empowerment opportunities for people to be able to sustain their lives post-incarceration. We do that by driving change through the social justice movement, making sure that we do our work through two pillars. One is direct service and sustainability, and the other is advocacy and engagement. We do that because we know that no one can advocate for themselves or anyone else unless their basic human rights are met first, which is access to safe and affordable housing, healthy food, and equitable opportunity in a growth-focused career, and being able to be empowered to use their voice. I am from Harlem, also born and raised. My dad was from Harlem, my mom was from the Bronx, my mom still lives in Harlem. And so I am rooted in the community. One of our offices are in Harlem. We're a national organization. We impact work in 34 states, also in the Caribbean, and have hubs in 5 states. We primarily focus on women in the legal system. Thank you, Trish. We are here because we primarily focus on women. Over 1 million women who are in this country are under the supervision of the justice system. 85% of women who are incarcerated are mothers. 90% of all formerly incarcerated women report food insecurity upon reentry. 75% of all women who are coming back from prison are unemployed 1 year after release. And so 83% provide, 83% are, by providing the opportunity to support short-term needs such as housing and food, we reduce the odds of recidivism by 83%. And by the way, in our programs, we've impacted over 5,000 women and girls, and we have a 0% rate of recidivism, which means no one who's gone through our programs have gone back to prison or jail. Next slide.
I think it's me on the next slide.
Okay. Yes, it's you. So Trish has been our program director. Well, she started with the organization. I say she's my longest standing member of my organization, where she started off in one program, kind of working side by side with me on it was our PAP program, Pathways, what was it? The Parole and Probation Accountability Project. And then we moved into our FOWI, Faces of Women Incarcerated program. And so as a veteran advocate, also a veteran, human rights activist and business developer, Trish spent 8 years in the US military, Army, served in 2 deployments, which included Operation Iraqi Freedom, and many more years advocating for community development and social justice. She has a background in politics, justice reform, and law enforcement, where she utilized her passion for justice to make a change within her community. She received her BA in Business Administration from Fordham University, a dual master's in Business Administration and International Business with a certification in Global Leadership from Georgia State University, and. So I know we only have 5 minutes, but I thought it was really, really important to share who you are meeting with outside of myself. And so Trish, please take it away.
Sure, thank you. We appreciate you all opportunity, not only just tonight to present, but the support that you all have been giving us over the last couple of years. We've been doing this with West Harlem Development since 2004, and we had a summit, Breaking Barriers, Building Futures. It was an economic development summit in 2004, and graciously West Harlem supported us again in 2025. And so we're decided to start a Women of West Harlem series where we support the women of West Harlem through the support of West Harlem Development Corporation. In 2024, we had about 200 participants, which was about 126 women from West Harlem. And we reached these numbers through 4 or 5 different segments, pretty much projects. 2 healing hubs, the branding workshop series, a FIWE book tour, and the West Harlem Development Economic Summit. So this year, last year, 2025, this summer, we had a Rewriting Her Story weekend where we, at the Dwyer Culture Center in Harlem, and we participated in Empowering Your Voice, networking workshops that encompassed digital education, financial education, mental health, yoga, physical health, how to tell your story. And it was a great time. And so just kind of breezing through this, going through some of the impact numbers, as I said here in the other slide, programming focused on culturally responsive, trauma-informed support across these 5 initiatives, the Healing Hub cohorts, the FIWE refresher course, the branding workshops, the book tour, and the summit, reaching about 126 women in the CB9 area. And this is just more of a breakdown with each of our programs that we did have. The 6-week Healing Hub, pretty much focused on self-development and self-sustainability. Our first cohort was May 5th through June 13th. We had 10 participants, and 6 of them were from the CB9 area. Our second cohort was June 16th through July 26th. That also had 10 participants. And I meant to say third cohort, that's on there twice. Apologize about that. But we had about 20 women, combined about 65% were from the CB9 area. Our public speaking workshop was June 27th. And this we opened up for the alumni as well, but mostly we targeted women in the CB9 area. And the sessions included entrepreneurship, public speaking, and personalized coaching with our public speaking coach that we have here, Melissa Ruiz. She also is and currently lives in the Harlem area. 90% of the attendees completed the post-workshop action plan to apply their learning to their advocacy, employment, and their community organizing. We also had our branding workshop series, and this included personal and professional branding. And that included how to run your social media, how to brand yourself, crafting your brand as a justice impacted woman, how to tell your story. This was held on April 22nd. It was 3 sessions, and we had 25 participants here, and they received branding kits at the end of the series. They received branding kits that included phone tripods, planners, ring lights, and training in Canva, Adobe Suite, and digital storytelling. So last year, FIWE, the Faces of Women in Prison, we published our first book, and we went on a book tour, and we talked about how to tell your story, how to monopolize off your story, how to get in the spaces to make sure your story is not only heard, but can shift public policy and public perception when it comes to people who have been incarcerated. And that was held at Reform Alliance and the Dwyer Cultural Center. And we had about 100 people in person and about 28 from the CB9 area. Lastly, we had our West Harlem Economic Summit, and that also was held at the Dwyer Cultural Center. And this was open to all ages, all ranges, all demographics within the West Harlem area. We ended up registering and engaging 150 women from the ages of 25 to 60. We verified these zip codes through registering. Sorry. Yeah, so we verified their registration through ID when they came through the door, and just to verify that they were from these zip codes. And I don't want to sound redundant, but these are the key areas that we touched on in this summit, which was financial education, economic justice, personal branding, navigating the digital world through our partnership with Google, and we had about 30 attendees register for ongoing workforce services and mentorship through vendors like Workforce One and New York Justice Peer Initiative. We also had a Harlem, you guys see that, Women Over Dinner held in Harlem. This had about 100 people, 100 women in person, about 120 virtual. And we had a wonderful dinner. We had topics on healing, healing-centered activities, building sisterhood, advocacy, and it was a great time. We had about 92% of the participants expressed that these peer-led healing sessions are definitely necessary, and it's something that we will continue to do. So again, these are just the outcomes for that. I'm just going to skip over that for time's sake. Again, these are the outcomes. We had 112 women verified from the CB9 area. And West Harlem graciously awarded us again to do work again in 2026. And these will be within 3 different initiatives with West Harlem. And that is the Healing Hub cohort, which starts, we actually launched February 4th. February 5th will be our start date for this upcoming cohort. The Edgecombe Correctional Connection and Community. And on that, we'll be focusing on food justice, poverty reduction, self-sustainability, and we'll be looking to train 10 to 15 women on urban agriculture and hydroponics. And the last one would be the Economic Empowerment Conference, and pretty much everything within what we did last year when it comes to showcasing and highlighting just the fact that women and empowering them economically, financially, mentally. And these are just a list of some of our partners and funders, supporters throughout the years since we've been here doing this. So we look forward to working with West Harlem this year, doing the work and impacting the people of West Harlem. Speaker, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you covered everything all. I would like to open it up to questions, comments that anyone may have. But again, just really grateful for the opportunity to continue the work with West Harlem Development Corporation. We've been doing this particular iteration of the program for the last 2 years, but we also worked with West Harlem, I believe it was the year or 2 before that, also on our Angel Food Project, where we were also supported to make sure that we were combating food insecurity in West Harlem. So
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Anybody have questions?
I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
Sure, this is Victor Edwards, Chair of the Board. The first item you had was a healing cohort, I think it was, one of the last screens
Yes, the
The
healing.
Healing Hub.
for CB9, correct?
Yes.
Where will that be held?
Those are virtual courses online over Zoom.
Okay, so there's no in-person on that.
No.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Your programs, they definitely align with the our committee, you know. I would love to have more information as I spoke to you. I'm sure we would love to, let me say, we would love to have more
Mhm.
information. Programs that, also, I'm curious to find out about the type of professions these women actually have, you know, what type of jobs that they have. Are they employed? Are they unemployed or seeking additional employment?
I would say all three. So, some start off being unemployed depending on where they are in their journey. Some are looking to upskill or, get a better sense of employment. We have people often, the type of person that's often attracted to our organization are people who may have been in a particular career, and then they are looking to kind of shift their careers or pivot. For example, we have women who are lawyers, we have a judge, we have a few doctors, social workers who have experienced incarceration. And then because they went to prison, they lost their licensure while they have the education and they have skills, they don't realize either that their skills are transferable, that can be used in another way. Or often they don't even have, they're not feeling empowered because prison beats us up. And so Trish has created an incredible, program through FAWI and also now the Healing Hub to be able to instill self-love, empowerment, being able to use your voice and transform those skills. So we have partnerships with so many different partners, as you saw. And so sometimes I hire people within the organization. We do paid internships that then transfer into paid employment within the organization. We partnered with Virgin Hotels, Marriott Hotels, Chase Bank, a lot of the advocacy organizations. What were you going to say, Trish?
Google, with the Google.
Google. Yeah, we were one of the 5 organizations that actually co-founded the Grow with Google course for justice impacted learners. And what we realized in a lot of our programming was that especially in the Google classes, that while women are learners, that they have men that are home that want to learn too. And so this year we decided to open up the opportunity to, provide the programming to women and men. And we also offer the programming inside of correctional settings. And so while Edgecombe being in Harlem is one that we're going to be offering this programming to, we also offer it in Georgia, in Houston, in Miami, Florida, within the prison system, and also Maryland.
Okay, that's great.
Interesting, yeah.
That's really great. I'm interested, well, let me stop saying I, sorry. It will be interesting to find out more about the internships that you offer. Perhaps we can work with you because one of the things that we want to do in economic development is to have an internship program.
Mm.
And it would be great to work with you to build an internship program so that they can work in different small businesses that are in this district that need help.
Would love that. That would be an incredible opportunity. to work with you to help to develop something like that, because we have the talent, you know, and not only are they talented because of their own self admission, but also because of the training and development, extra development that we've also invested in them to do that. And so the opportunity to be able to work in the communities that they live in is incredible. Like, I often create jobs. There's a lot of women that come from Edgecombe. They're coming from Bedford Hills, upstate, from the correctional facility. They get into Edgecombe, which is a transitional community. So it's really work release. And if they don't get a job within a certain period of time, they go back upstate. And so we created with the sister who was actually from West Harlem, created a position for her in the office so that they wouldn't send her back to prison. And then I was able to get one of my friends who owns a hair salon to hire them also part-time. So we basically created 2 part-time roles. So they had a full-time job in order to not send her back to prison after she served her time. And so where there are opportunities where we have local small businesses that would be looking to provide, whether it's small stipends or, well, the organization, sometimes we've taken on the payment just to be able to place them where funding is available. We would be happy to do that and develop that.
Yes, I think, I was trying to stop saying I. But we believe that there are so many talents in this community. And we need to connect the dots, you know, connect each other to different opportunities that are there. One of the things that New York City Multicultural Festival does is that it provides free tents, tables, and chairs to vendors during the festival. So one of the things that we wanted to look at this year was to see how we could help those who are formerly incarcerated vendors, you know, to be able to sell. All they have to do is just bring their, whatever they're selling, we'll provide the tables, chairs, and tents. Of course, they have to pay the registration fee, which is not a lot at all. I think is the cheapest in the whole city. But to be able to do that, to assist, so that was why I said that. Want to work with you guys.
How much is the registration fee, if you offhand or around about?
Okay, offhand around.
In the past, it was X, Y,
Yes, yes, early registration for retail, that's $80.
Okay.
Registration for food was $125.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, that's not a lot for, you know, some people, right? And where we as an organization can come in to help maybe sponsor a table or someone, we would be happy to look into that. But I also think what could be helpful that can attract people to come too is if maybe it's a, hey, we'll give you an opportunity if you pay 50% of it down. And, you know, before the end of the day, you have to pay the other half. Because, you know, truth be told, there are people who are coming home that have great ideas, that have products and services that want to sell, but they may not have the upfront capital to be able to do that, because even $80 could be a lot for some people. So just even thinking about how as a community we can come in together to help to support that. But I love that idea. And you know, the exposure for people would be great if there's media and things involved. And then also I'm thinking about where, again, West Harlem Development Company can support, you know, people who are on work release, right? Like maybe there's to be able, if they have products or different things, where maybe there's something you can put on the website and people can sell it, do kind of like a Shopify, where it could also raise money for the community board to operate as a way to give back. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of different creative ways to engage the justice impacted community, because, you know, Harlem, unfortunately, still has one of the higher areas or boroughs where people are coming back from prison or jail outside of the Bronx. specifically that are living in the community that still need a lot of help and support.
Where is the event that you sponsor? Where, physically? where is it?
Physically,
Yeah, where is
it's
it?
on St. Nicholas Avenue between 141st and 145th.
Mhm.
That's 5 blocks, you talking.
That's 5 blocks.
All right, let's we understand what we're talking about
Yes.
here. Okay.
Actually, they have 2 opportunities. First opportunity is at the Jackie Robinson Park. And then the second is on St. Nicholas Avenue from 141st to 145th. So can build something around that to really make it worth their while. In the past, we've also, when we had a lot of staff, we also would create commercials for them. You know,
Oh, nice.
yeah, we would create a website for them and do promos for them. Teach them how to do it, or we'll do it for them. And you know, they just put it on their Facebook, put it on their social media. Those people who didn't have social media, we helped them to create it. We show them, we taught them how to do it. And you know, they were able to promote their merchandise.
What?
No, I think that's great. I think I heard the sister from So Harlem speak about doing websites. Is that correct? Or supporting people there. So maybe that's where there's a collaboration where we could all come together in bringing in, maybe it is a certain pilot, a cohort of people that we kind of pilot this with to see how it works over the next year. And then open it up for something larger once, you know, we see how a collaboration can come together.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Sounds good. That's what economic development is all about.
I just asked,
Indeed.
how have you guys been able to, like, what's been working for you best in terms of how you're able to get to as many CB9 folks as possible? Like, what's been, what,
Reach.
So,
We're having people on the, oh, go ahead, Trish. I've talked
Oh.
enough. Go ahead.
no. Well, one of the ways that we did was a lot of our, or some of our alumni are from that Harlem area, West Harlem area, and we've pretty much hired them to be boots on ground, to get the word out, to get flyers out. A lot of it's word of mouth, partnering with and contacting other organizations within West Harlem, sending them all the information, sending them cohort start dates, and open it up for possible partnership. But they usually pass it on to their clients, and it's usually word of mouth and boots on ground, just handing flyers and speaking with the community.
and do you guys work with folks that are up for parole as well? To, okay, awesome. Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you all have our direct contact so we can follow up, or you can follow up after this meeting. I'm not sure if you all were in the emails that we were going back and forth in, but I wanted to make sure you all had our contact.
Okay, can we have your contact, please?
I can put it in the chat if it's easier to copy paste.
Oh, we are not virtual. We are, so.
Oh, okay. Well, our phone number is 646 820-0011. That's the phone number.
If you type it in the chat, we'll see it though. So feel free.
Perfect. Doing that now. Okay.
And if you want to send us your presentation as well, that would be great.
Yep. Trish, you can send that over after.
Do you want me to send it in the group, or I don't know if I have you all email?
Should we just have a step through what email should we use?
I don't have the email, I don't have the email for the send to
You
you.
can send a CB9 and then we'll
Yeah,
pick it up from there.
CB9.
Yeah. Do you have the CB9 email?
Let's see.
But it's also important for you to have the co-chair's email as well.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. So Michael and I will.
I have
Yeah,
CB9.
send us an email.
Yeah.
Or yeah, send us an email. Trish, put your email up in the chat. And then that way you can CC yourselves on that email. And then we'll send the presentation back. And then we'll all be in a group.
Perfect.
And please share the presentation with whomever you like. It's fine.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Anybody have any more questions? Okay. So with the email that we'll send you, that's the co-chair's email, you can then send us your signing sheet, your attendance sheet, so that we can sign and send back to you. Okay,
Perfect.
so we have Andrea Bracker, who's also a member of our committee, right, Andrea?
Yes, yes, I am.
I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, because we did that, and I neglected those people who were online, so I want to give you a
Oh,
chance.
okay. Andrea Brecker. I'm relatively new to CB9 and new to this committee. I'm also on the board of the Morningside Heights Community Coalition.
All right, welcome. As
Thank
you're
you.
going to find out very soon, this is going to be the best committee in community.
Okay, all right, that's great.
This is the first one she missed. She was good old Bill.
Really? Oh, wow, okay,
She was
all
a
right,
realist.
thank you, all right. So, we're going to go to the next presentation, and that is by me.
Yes.
So the New York City Multicultural Festival, it started off with the NYPD going to different communities and asking communities to come up with different programs that would help to reduce hate crimes. So I, being in the arts, I wrote a proposal about having all the different ethnic groups in the city and the police come together, because you have the Puerto Rican parade, the Irish parade, the different parades, but you never have an opportunity to have people come together and learn about each other. So they love the idea, and we've been doing that, but it's much, much more than arts being used as a tool to help reduce hate crime. It also has an economic part to it, what I've talked about. We provide free tables, chairs, and tents to the vendors. When they used to ask for a vendor license, we would have free vendor classes where we taught people how to be vendors, how to start a business, how to run a successful business as a vendor, all the little tricks and trades to make you successful if you're a vendor when you're selling. My family was in the vending thing for a long time. We were selling African clothing, so all the tricks that we learned, I would share it with the people that we were training. So now there's no need to have a vendor's license, but still yet we're able to help people who want to be a vendor, learn how to be a vendor, get their papers together. And we provide the tables and chairs and tents and so forth, so on. So it's a great place to learn about other cultures, meet other people, present yourself, do whatever, anything that will help to educate, help to break down negative stereotype, help to launch people's career, we do it. You have different performers from all over representing different
Last time it
countries.
was the world. I said, Lord have mercy.
It was the world. So that's what we do in June. This year, I don't remember the dates, I'm so sorry, but I think it's June 6th and the 20th, I'm not sure. Please, forgive me, I'm still jet lagged. But, they have been working, and the theme, I love the theme. The theme this year is talent meets opportunity.
Oh.
Yes, I love it. I mean, that's just what New York City is all about, So, everybody comes here because they feel that if you can make it in New York, you can make it everywhere, because there's all these opportunities to have business, this and that. And that's why so many of us have come from different countries, to this country, into the city, so that's the theme. And if I can use this opportunity to also talk about what we're having in February. All of these programs that we do one in December, one in February, and then the one in June. They are all part of the New York City Multicultural Festival. They're showcasing different cultures. So I'm excited about February. So February, you guys have gone to Comic-Con, right? Oh, you know about Comic-Con? Okay. So we are doing the Black History Month Comic-Con. So you will have performers who will be like Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin,
Oh, wow.
all these great figures, you know?
Right.
And then, huh?
Name it.
Marian Anderson,
Now saying Muddy Waters,
Muddy Waters.
you know, it's funky.
No, I've heard.
It's he's saying part of the word wrong, but yeah, I know, so I didn't, yeah.
Nat King Cole. So we are also asking the audience to dress up as, you know, let their dress be inspired by an icon or by a period. So, period in the history, American history. Yes. So we are so excited about that, and I hope that you guys will participate in one way or the other.
When is this again? February?
February.
February what?
Hold on. It's the last Saturday in February.
I may have a date you got.
I know, I'm sorry, it's 28th of February.
Oh, February, okay,
There you go.
so it's the end of the month. It's the
Yes,
last,
the
yeah.
end of the month. They gave me time to come back. So
26.
it's what we're putting together.
And where again did you say it would be?
I'm sorry.
Where?
Where? The school, it's our favorite spot, PSIS 210. That's located on 152nd Street on Amsterdam Avenue. It can fit up to 1,000 people, so.
So is it like targeted for kids or is it everybody?
Kids and adults.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, because it's an educational piece. So it gives the children an opportunity to learn about these
Yeah.
icons, you know, that live.
What's the time we should get us from?
It's going to be from 5 to 9.
5 at night?
5 to 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Yes, and there'll be
5 p.m.
Yes,
to 9 p.m. I was just dealing with night, that's all.
yes.
And children, that's why I said, yeah,
Yes.
but if 5 p.m. is after school, so yeah, okay.
Do we have a flyer for the event?
Not yet. Not yet. We,
Okay.
Okay,
they were waiting for me to come back.
and that's February.
Yeah, but all that will be shared with everyone. And it's free to come in. And there'll be food and drinks as well. We also have vendors who will, you know, they also will show how they've been inspired by these icons. So you may have vendors that deals with, hair care products, and we know that it was, what's the name of that? Madam C.J. Walker, exactly, so you'll have that, all those people doing hair products will be under the banner of inspired by Madam C.J. Walker.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so it's an educational piece, it's an
Yeah.
entertainment piece, and as a celebration of, our history,
Yeah.
American history. Yeah, so.
So the city not have like a social media or like an active social media?
We do.
Okay.
We do. Nothing was put out yet because I needed to be there to approve everything. So, but you'll start seeing things. Our website. On Facebook, you'll see it on multiculturalfestival.nyc.
Okay.
Multicultural Fest, I believe, is the social media. So we have all the social media, Facebook, Multicultural Fest, Instagram, TikTok, all that. It'll be there, and we will have banners out there.
Okay. But the CB9 in general have like a social media page.
CB9 in general, I don't think has a social media. Yeah.
The website updates pretty regularly though.
Okay.
Like you can see, there's like a calendar with events and stuff.
Okay.
You should have an Instagram.
And they also they do send information out about different things. Gotcha, yeah. When events happening.
Yeah, we can, if you're not on like the mailing list for CB9 events and stuff, maybe we can, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do I have any more questions for me? No? Okay, thank you. All right. So that is the end of our presentation. And you all are welcome to stay. We just want to talk about where we want to take this committee, Economic Development, Harlem Piers, where we want to take it, you know, this time around. And you all are welcome to join us in the conversation, help us to shape and plan this.
Okay, are you gonna talk about the West Harlem Piers?
Yes. What would you like us to talk about?
Just an update, you know.
Oh,
what's going on
update.
with that, yeah.
I'm not update.
All
What's
right,
the
I'll
update?
give you an update on the West Harlem Pier. The West Harlem Pier actually right now is functioning quite well. There was a problem with the pier upper Heights of Living, I can't remember the name right now. And they used to have a tree that will allow them to come down and take up a big section of where the West Harlem Piers is, to put their program here. Because they lost the program they had in
The
Georgetown.
heights of the embankment,
Yes, that one got lost, and so it's gonna be down here. We voted and said, okay, it'll be down here by the Piers area. And to be honest, I kind of looked around and I haven't seen the amount of fish that I remember being there in general, just in general. I mean, and I don't see that many fishermen anymore either. And I started to look because I'm not seeing that much fish in the Hudson River at 125th. And that's it.
So the West Harlem Piers is something we want to make sure that we take a look at what's going on. See how we can improve upon what's there already. And I know we have some unfinished business with the West Harlem Piers as regards the marine transfer station. It's just been a mystery. So we'll deep dive into that too and see what happens. And find out what other programs are there, or how we can improve upon it and whatever.
Well, that main program that you're talking about, part of the problem, the reason I know is because I was around. That part, we had people, MTP, more than parking, they had money. Back at the time, they had money, big wise. And they were to do the part above the river. They were gonna rebuild everything in that building and do everything. However, they said, you gotta fix the pier underneath. We're not gonna invest in the pier underneath. And so we had a whole thing, the sanitation department, when we called for that from this committee, sanitation said, oh, they didn't have enough money to fix the pier, let it. Then we went to economic development, they were having, so the bottom line is, MTP made a beautiful presentation to the board. I think were you still here when they made that? All right, and everybody was 100%, we got, well, we gonna put it. They wouldn't fix the problem underneath. The city claimed they couldn't afford to fix those piers. Now, recently, I happened to pass there and I see somebody has a big outdoor board thing, and it's painted up real gorgeous, but it's the whole name of the piers. It's like you're gonna get on it. It's just like if you could see it. So actually, now that we're back active, remember somebody's gotta go and check with what is actually going on there, because what was proposed there covered everything. It covered the ferry coming from New Jersey to New York. It covered public programs. for you to see. It covered up part of the waterfront. The children could come and look and know the fish I haven't seen lately, but so the program was excellent. Now, why, whether or not these people are still, I'm gonna say it the way I mean it, financially interested, I don't know. Because it's been, what, 2 years since,
No, about 4 or 5 years.
oh, that long, well,
So was this like a contractual thing where there was gonna be a ferry coming back and forth? from
yes,
Jersey?
yes.
Okay, and who had that?
They were building, the MTP would control everything. The ferry from New Jersey to New York,
Okay.
they would control the outdoor, that was my thing. The enclosed outdoor elevator that was in the front. So whatever floor you wanted to go to, the elevator took it, but it was in the front and a seat. I was like, excuse me, you know? So the project was, yours, right? They really went to it. Now, whether, I haven't heard, this is the first year, because I knew them personally. This is the first year that I have not heard from the president of that organization. So it's telling me that maybe I need to act like I know and respond. But that, yeah, MTP, and that would have been perfect for here.
Okay.
The next thing too with the page, you gotta deal with 125th Street.
So what we want to try to do first of all is to understand what is economic development, this committee, what is our job, what do we do? No? Has anybody looked online to find out what we do, what we're supposed to do?
I think just maybe we should just get a set of what it is this committee is about, because nobody knows.
No, I just want to make sure that I give people the opportunity to speak. I don't want to speak at people, you know?
Joyce, if I may,
Yes, Victor. Yes,
Good.
Chair.
good, good evening, everybody, again. I just wanted to go back on 2 items. That was the sailing group that came and presented, and the Harlem Rocket people, both are very interested in the pier and trying to work together to bring something there, which I think would be great. You know, the sailing group wanted to work with young people in the area, and I thought that would be excellent. And the Harlem Rocket as well would bring definite financial benefit to that area on both accords. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I know we've spoken about this before, Merida included, was the pilings under the transfer station not being in good shape to do any construction. I would ask that be revisited through the 2 of you with them to see where that is, so we could inform people that might want to venture onto the transfer station, that it is safe and certified that they could build and go forward. So definitely would, take a look at those 2 items. But Harlem Rocket, I spoke with maybe 2 weeks ago. They said they were going to come back and meet with you again to look at moving forward. And then also, as Marita said, moving some of the items that are up at Dykeman down to the pier there at West Harlem. So they'll be ready to go in the coming season. So just wanted to bring that up for you.
Victor, can you say a little bit more about the pilings under the pier? Like, where exactly is that area that's in need of reconstruction?
So the pilings under the Marine Transfer Station itself, they are not sure that they are worthy of construction and holding a building up. And that has to be, certified by engineers that it is before they can move forward. So if you look out on 125th, where you see the Marine Transfer Station, there's pilings that hold that building up that have probably been there since, they've been up. And that was one of the issues before, the pilings that, hold the building up has to be certified that they're trustworthy.
Okay, great.
All
Thanks,
right,
Victor.
okay.
All right.
I mean, I think what I would also just add regarding the West Harlem Piers is, there are already restaurants on the West Harlem Piers. building a bathroom. I hope that's still gonna happen soon.
It's not on the piers, the
Yeah.
new one they put up. I don't know, I wasn't involved when they were doing it,
Right,
but it is nowhere near where it makes sense.
right,
Because
right.
if you're coming down that over ride, where the restaurant is to the end,
Mhm.
hello?
Yeah,
If you're on the piers, by the time you got there, you messed up.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It was supposed to be at the northern end by 135th Street,
Mhm.
which would have been a simple walk up, if you were on the piers. Now you could almost go home.
Yeah.
But I'm done.
Well, just to correct that, Ritter's right, it's gonna be like right in front of where Dinosaur Barbecue is, on that island there. We met with DOT regarding that. We asked that it be moved in front, right near, not on the piers, but right in front of it. And there was an issue with utilities, water and electric for that particular space.
right.
I asked them and was a bit taken aback that they made the selection without even bringing us to the table. Your committee, West Harlem Piers. I said we should have been involved in the selection at some point. Don't make a selection, then come and tell us, oh, this is where it's going to be, and we can't put it there because of these reasons. I just, I didn't appreciate being left out of the, now you're going to tell us after the fact why you can't do. Let us be a part of the decision. Maybe there was somewhere else that could be utilized that did have water, and they didn't want to break up the pier, the concrete where the park is itself. That would have been an ideal location where the ramp that goes out to the Bayland, that is a little house there. That would have been a perfect place for it, but they didn't want to go through breaking up the ground there to do that. So,
Right,
Well, the
right.
bottom line though is at 135th Street at Marginal, they had the water there, they had everything there that they could have put that bathroom.
Mhm.
So why it ended up down at that end, I don't know, because it definitely is not servicing the people who are on the piers. There's no way.
Got across the street, yeah.
It's not just across the street,
Yeah.
it's down the
It's
street.
down, yeah. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, as the weather, especially as the weather gets warmer, I do think it would be sort of incumbent on us to have or promote as many events over on the piers as possible to get folks over there. So that Dinosaur Barbecue, other like businesses can feel like they're supported out there. So I think, sit like where we are now, it is kind of a walk to get over there. And I think sometimes the piers feel a little bit isolated from the rest of our district. And so I think, doing some things sort of.
Like,
that's
nobody's
true.
going to the piers
No,
now, so let's not act like they are.
But right outside the Piers though, well, that Piers was saying.
What was it? And the good weather, it's packed.
Mm.
It's packed, and the piers has one little area, I can't think of the street, where they have a stage out if you wanted to bring and perform. Then at the foot of 125th, people have brought group organizations. Because I gotta see when they're gonna do it again, have brought and performed right there, even though it's not a little stage, it is an area where they hold it and you can perform there. So there are other things going on at the piers, just the water and the piers, or just walking up and down, which has now been it with families and that. That's why I really wanted that other marine transfer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I think the marine transfer thing is something we want to take a look at before our next meeting. And we'll definitely have more information on by our next meeting. Yeah.
And in my brain, okay, I'm gonna take a chance with this one. Columbia has over the years really made it a point to have housing for some of their higher instructors and teachers. And that's why you can almost walk across the Hudson River with all the new buildings that went on there. Hello, let's act like, okay. So that's part of where we're coming from. And at the bottom line there, hey, fix this thing and let the ferry come and let everybody, you understand? and economically bring money.
Yes, okay, I have a question. So what's the issue with the piers? Because what I've noticed, like you said, there's no, like, even when it's warm, like, compared to like Chelsea Pier, like, they always have some type of like programming going on. So I don't know if it's like C9 is in charge of events over there, or who would be in charge of that?
Well, they're a bunch of organizations or businesses that have their own events there. I think I'd have to think about, I mean, I know like Columbia University has events there, right?
Yeah,
And like there's a big boat that has like that's on the West Harlem Pier that has like events.
The
I'm
Bay-
forgetting the name of
Baylander.
the Baylander.
And how often is that?
that's a restaurant.
That's like a restaurant and bar. Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah. But I mean,
I'm
yeah.
trying to think where the boat is, because in my mind, I can't even think of that.
It's like-
The only boat you must see is the Bayland.
Okay,
It's
okay.
that-
Yeah, you'll see it. It's like within 10 blocks of where we are right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's been my experience, is that it is a little bit harder to get to in some ways than like the Chelsea Piers can feel if you're like walking there from Lower Manhattan. But I think, you know, we definitely want to be a part of bringing more events over there and getting folks to see how nice it is there too.
But can C9 like create its own events, or do you guys have to like sponsor? Or
Yes, we actually
I
have,
think we could,
we
we
can
just never
create,
did.
we can create our own event. There was an event called the Family Day. Victor, do you remember Family Day at, Georgette Morgantown is trying to do that.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's still functioning though.
It's something we can do again, but to piggyback on the question was asked about Chelsea Pier, I spend a lot of time at Chelsea Pier myself, either boating or, you know, they have restaurants there, they have a gym, they have basketball. The amenities there are so much more than just a pier. You know, there's a lot down there that draw people to, you know, Chelsea Piers itself. And I've often, you know, I mean, a real restaurant, all-season restaurant. Bayland is nice, I go there, but we don't have an all-season restaurant at that pier that would draw people there. Fairway closed, that took people away. The restaurant row, I used to call it, they went up further up to 135th, 138th Street. All those restaurants closed as well, and no sign of them reopening. So that has taken a lot of the traffic we used to have from that away from that area. Dinosaur Barbecue is like one of the few surviving, and the Cantina, the two surviving restaurants there at this point. So
I think it's also been frustrating because there's been like construction at Manhattanville for this whole time.
yeah.
And that's also kind of, you know, not blocked off access, but it's a bit of an eyesore.
doesn't help. Yeah.
It doesn't help. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like envisioning right now.
Mm-hmm.
See what Columbia does with their claim, they're gonna put all those restaurants on Marginal, so we'll see.
We'll see.
The whole campus, I got that, you know, I read everything, I don't.
So
What's
why,
it specifically?
From 125th to 135th on, that's not Marginal, what's that street?
programming?
Tell that.
So are we having a conversation with them currently about like what restaurants they would be looking to, what types of?
Not yet, because as far as they're concerned, they haven't finished building.
Okay.
Yeah. So the construction, like, you can kind of see it
Yeah.
in some places. Yeah.
I drive all the time and I'm like, I guess maybe I'm focused on driving. But I'm not saying.
But a conversation that we can have with Columbia right now has to do with something that the chair came up with, which I thought was a great idea. At the Columbia University business students, create an internship program with them so that they can help small businesses here. That's a great idea, Victor.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be better for the hub.
And definitely something I can work on.
Yes.
I'll say, still, I go to Columbia, I can like find, you know, folks in the business school pretty quickly or pretty directly. I think that's definitely something we want to bring back, because it's in the new benefits agreement.
Yes, it
Um,
is. And
And,
we need it like yesterday.
The name of someone at Columbia.
that'd be great. Yeah,
Tell them that
I'll tell them you can do it.
So, and then also in terms of the potential tenants that will be going there, is there a specific like realty company that is managing that, right? Or
What are you talking about?
like, in terms of the space and like who would be coming in or who would be interested in those spaces?
In working with the business school or working with,
You talking about the Piers?
Yes, talking about.
Asking people by this, by Community Board 9, among other things, because it is a government space.
Yeah.
Yes, we can't just show up and take it over.
You sound like you're interested in that.
Well, yeah, I'm interested, so that's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand the full scope of like what
Okay.
happened, cause I'm still like, obviously getting the information out there, whilst I've been out, so. Just trying to get caught up to speed, so.
The reason I'm saying that is that what we do at times is that we allocate individuals to take care of this place and that, you know, to steward one thing or the other, one project or the other. So since you're, you know, showing interest, I'm thinking that, you know, maybe you can start having conversations with them and then report it back when we have our meeting.
Well, certainly.
You know, so that's under West Harlem Piers.
Just all this.
That's under West Harlem Piers.
And Joyce, if he shares it with me, I'll tell him I'll give him the phone number.
Well, you just come to the meeting and you can hear what he's saying and you
I
can give him all
I
the.
didn't think I had nothing else to do, right?
guess we can table that, but I would add some additional questions in terms of all of who I would need to be having conversations with.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
I think we also just like don't necessarily have like a timeline for completion
Yeah.
of the Manhattanville campus. And so, you know, I have no idea when Columbia is even gonna plan on thinking about like potential vendors or anyone.
But you know, you could look at the bus station and 12th Avenue, because that's where the dormitories are supposed to be. So long as they still got the buses going up and down, you gotta say, hey, that's where the dormitory.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
don't ask me, honey, I know.
I will.
Now, should we draw up a proposal for Columbia or you just wanna have a conversation with them first about the internship thing and then have them draw up the project? 'Cause-
So let me jump back in, Joyce, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Victor.
What I suggest you do is take a look at the community benefits agreement under the section of economic development. There's quite a bit there. It's employment and economic development section. Do that first. And then I would say go from there. You'll see the part about the business school and students working with local businesses. But I would take a deep dive into that as a committee and then come back and kind of brainstorm which way you want to go with that. I have contact with Lofton Flowers and Phoebe quite often, meetings, and we can, you know, put together something to present to them to go to the next step. But I would say the first step, look at the benefits agreement on economic development section.
Okay,
I think what we need to,
I'll let you.
yeah, totally. Yeah, I'd love to work on that. And I think something we do need to think about is Columbia's, you know, something like 20 blocks away from here. We don't really expect, if they're planning on, you know, helping out the whole district. You know, we want them to be part of the outreach as well, and for them to come to different parts of the neighborhood to work with folks directly. I think something I'm worried about in creating or bringing back a program like this is that we're gonna ask all these small businesses to go all the way to Columbia, and that might make it harder for them to work directly with the business school folks.
Okay. Two things are going on in my mind. One, we need to extract that place in the benefit agreement for all of us to read and understand. Secondly, I don't envision an internship program where the businesses are going to meet the interns. I think the interns should come to the businesses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. Okay. Will you be able to extract that and send it to everybody?
Sure, yeah.
That section, the benefit agreement. So that we can all understand it and take our teeth into it and marshal out a plan. If you need it.
Michael,
Yeah, Andrea. You're on mute, sorry.
Unmute yourself, Andrea.
Did you realize?
Yeah, it's on here, I see.
I'm sorry, I thought I had done that. I'm sorry. I was saying, Michael, I could work with you on that, taking a look at the benefits agreement and maybe we could come up with something together.
That would be great. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Andrea. Yeah.
But we should definitely go read it. But
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Good job. Okay, so, anything else?
The only thing that I think we talked about really briefly before the meeting that I think is worth bringing up is potentially thinking about like doing some kind of small business summit for the businesses in our district. You know, the Morningside Heights Community Coalition did a really great event a few months ago at this point where they brought together all the small businesses in Morningside Heights for a sort of half a day or a day to talk about common challenges facing that neighborhood. And I know this community board has done small business summits in the past, but I think it's been about a year.
Yeah, we had a small business conference last year, April, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And so I think something that would bring together all the small businesses in the district would be an amazing thing to shoot for. By the end of this year, at least, I think that would be awesome.
So we need to,
We need to identify, because I've noticed so many north of 125th Street, especially on Broadway, and there's a lot of small businesses there.
It's crazy, yeah, like it's like 10 stores per block or something, yeah.
And I went in one just because the bus stopped there, and I was with some, a neighbor of mine was gonna have something somewhere. And the bus stop is, what's going there? Oh, you know? And I does not talk about New Year's Eve, because that was a spring party I went to, right up here.
Really?
Amsterdam Avenue.
Question, is there a list of businesses or how would we go about sourcing the contact information to, right? Cause I know when we start talking about businesses, just in general, like there's so many, we have clothing stores, you have restaurants, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we all kind of pull these people together to make it make sense? That would kind of just be my question.
I think doing like extensive outreach is gonna be what we have to do, right? So like, you know, if you're, I mean, small businesses, we can generally find all the small businesses in our district by just like looking online or trying to find as many by walking the streets as well.
Yeah.
I do think, you know, we'll do, if we do something like this, I think flyering and outreach is gonna be really key.
Yeah.
Which means literally going like business to business. And I think talking to folks and making sure they know, you know, on this date, we're gonna be having a small business summit and getting them interested in attending. And that, yeah, that's something that we can definitely think more about, yeah.
The committee needs to have set the date,
Yeah.
whatever it's going to be. Then you go one-on-one to pull them in.
Right.
Totally.
And then there's more.
Yeah.
We gotta set the date.
Oh, we gotta have a flyer first, yeah.
So maybe, so I guess that maybe, yeah, next conversation, just figuring out a date that works and then just building around that.
Figuring out a location too.
Yeah.
In mind for the small businesses.
Okay, did you have?
You know, I was gonna see how you guys felt about that. It was like,
A staff, so like, a slow business day or either a weekend, I don't know, like, would that be,
I think a weekend might be tough because folks,
Small businesses, especially the ones on the retail corridor. You don't be pulling them for no meeting on a Saturday when they got people.
well, then I
coming.
said it's on a slow business day, so.
No.
Right, personally.
No.
Thank-
At best, it's Tuesday, because on Monday, they can review everything that happened on Sunday, but I've been through this with them. They'll review everything that happened on Sunday and fix whatever they had in the restaurant or store, and Tuesday. At that time.
Two questions. Well, is it still recording or?
yeah,
I mean, it's not bad, but it's.
we can also talk about it after the meeting, if
Okay.
you'd rather, yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
I was gonna, yeah, anyway, but the other thing that I proposed in our the meeting that I was last year. Like having like some type of like small business fair or something that's similar to like Uptown Night Market, but it's entirely different. But to like celebrate them, I don't know if this would be in like conjunction to the Multicultural Fest But I do think it may be like separate. But just having something where like, you just have a fair, and you have the small businesses just.
You may have them recognized big, in a bigger field, in a bigger area.
Yeah,
Mm.
so I don't know if that'll like come after, I'm sure that'll come after the door-to-door canvassing. But
Well,
that's
let's,
just the idea.
let's make that the purpose of the door to door. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely an event we could do where we like have like some kind of
Yeah,
festival or something that just features like small businesses.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think when I think about like a summit, it would be great if it was
Right.
making sure that they have resources or giving them any kind of training that they might need. And that would be a great thing to involve like, Columbia Business School and other like folks that help out street vendors, a
Yeah,
whole host of other. That's something we can figure out and plan out so that we have like a half day of events or something like that, that should be helpful to people.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Be like mini Jarvis centers.
Yeah,
Like,
the
Yeah.
small, cause every time I go up and down on the avenue on the bus now, I'm like, oh, it's 400 small businesses here. Somebody need to pull, just, if you pull them all together, they'd be enormous. That's how it, just look on the bus and see,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I think it's also,
Yeah, man.
it's also obviously getting more expensive every year to have a business
yeah.
to pay for your property. Yeah.
That's the question I wanna ask. Are they thriving? Are they struggling?
Some, the ones that I have made it a point to go in and work with and check with are surviving.
Hmm.
They don't seem to be suffering, watch the S, but they are surviving. So to me, if they're surviving, they're this close to having a problem.
I was gonna, cause are they, surviving is also like, barely making it.
Yeah,
It's almost like I'm.
You barely make it.
barely making it.
Well, most of them don't seem to be barely making it, but it is, they break, let's say breaking even. So like, they don't have time for up and down when you break it even, you know,
Breaking even is on a verge of life and.
it's down.
We're not doing this to make money, is what I'm doing it for.
Lord.
And trying to hold, because I was in a restaurant where they were really trying to do enough business so that the staff, the people, the waiter could, they didn't have to fire anybody, they didn't have to let anybody go. And then it's like this, yeah, so.
Yeah, so I think for next meeting. Try to come up with some like dates. That potentially work for a small business summit and, you know, we can think of some locations as well. Obviously, you know, City College, some other
I know you're super familiar with, events and places that we've done things before, so if you have anything that you would recommend for us, I think, we can. For
You
sure,
need to have the small business in that?
yes.
Okay,
I
let me,
mean, you don't have to, like, not now.
yeah, let me
for next
think,
meeting,
yeah.
because
Okay.
how big a space do you need and what
Right.
day? Because I'm telling you, I really know from experience, Monday is the day.
Okay.
Because they have checked on what happened over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They can fix whatever it is on Monday, so it's Monday or Tuesday for them. Where they should be able to come and not affect what is happening in their business. Yeah.
Okay, all right, it's 8:11. We need to get out of here
Oh.
at 8:30.
Yes,
So let's just recap. So, benefit agreements. You extract that and send it to everyone, so we can take a look at what we need to do.
And I'll
regarding-
Dre on that.
Yes, I'm working with Andre on that, so we can know what we need to do, to start up the, students internship program,
mm,
okay? Get a date for the small business. Small business, what, fair? Or small business
Small business summit.
summit,
Yeah.
okay.
okay,
Well, what do you think?
all right. You gotta think when you talk to people and you know, they be like, let's just.
Yeah,
Small business something, I don't know what, but.
I think we can just come next meeting with some ideas and then. we can just
Yeah,
go forward.
small business.
There you go,
Yeah.
yeah, play with the name, yeah.
And then we take a look at various locations that are available to hold it, depending on how large we want the summit, or we anticipate the summit. The business event will be, right?
Mhm.
So there are different places to take a
Well,
look at.
let me
We
ask
also
you
have
this
some-
way, because
yes.
you probably know, if we do this, are we talking about 10 to 12 or 1? Or are you talking in the evening? Because I think if you're gonna go to a small business, you wanna get them in the early, it's morning.
You think Monday morning works better?
I'm sorry?
Monday morning works better, do you think? Okay.
Monday too, but as long as, I think in the morning, so they go back and deal with their business
Yeah.
in the afternoon.
Morning, just like when we did the business conference. You know, we started, when we did the business conference in April, we started it in the morning, 9 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people, you know, and then it went on to, and we finished at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So those who could stay,
Yes,
stay, but in the morning, we had more.
But as long as you do an off day of the business, that's an off day for their business, you'll get them there.
Okay. All right, so, thank you, everybody. When we meet next week, we'll also get next month.
I was gonna say.
We'll get more into the running of the committee. Because we do have to have committee, we have to have, what is it? Subcommittees. Subcommittees. You know, like I said, I don't know about you, but I hate to come and talk to two people. You know, I like to have discussions and have people talk to me, tell me what's going on, and, you know, we all work together to, make this, a great community. So we'll talk about that, how the community, works, and the rules and regulations of the board.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm the first one.
What's your name?
Gregory Freedom.
Last name.
Oh, okay, you right at the beginning, okay.
So one of the things that happens is that Columbia Spectator will want to interview people.
Good.
And so we do have a, right, Victor? We do have a policy that you must know. You can't just go and be interviewed and speak on behalf of the community board. There are rules and regulations regarding that. Yes, Chair?
And bylaws state that no one speaks for the board unless they speak to me first. Spectator often comes to me and asks, can they speak to committee chair or someone, and I will refer them to the committee chair, but committee chairs or committee members can't speak directly to any press without speaking to the office and myself first.
Okay, yeah, without getting the chair, they cannot.
So we'll learn.
One other thing before you close, I might suggest is speaking with the Women Chamber of Commerce, Kenya Abreu, who used to be on the board. They have their pulse often, their hand on the pulse of some of the small businesses along Amsterdam and Broadway corridor, so they could be helpful in giving you ideas or planning, or even giving you a list of what businesses are there. Just a thought.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm on the board or on the committee, so
Oh, that's.
You're a public member, right? So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna let you say nothing. I'm glad you're here. Keep coming.
One last thing one last thing that was on the agenda is the strategic planning task
Strategic
force.
planning.
We'll have more updates from them, I think, by the next meeting as well. Yeah, they've been sort of working on WHDC stuff more so. So like, how do we make sure WHDC is doing everything for businesses, and organizations?
It's very small one,
Yeah.
that's the, yeah.
Yes.
So what we normally do is we have someone in our committee who goes to attend the meeting and reports back to the committee.
Check on the next strategic plan. Committee is.
Okay. So hopefully all our people will come back and we'll be able to have people in this very important positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Victor.
Welcome. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you,
meeting.
Ms. Dunn. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's great to be back and see that everybody's ready to go to work. I'm excited. It's gonna be a great year.
Oh, I'm happy to see you, for sure. I'm glad to see you. We've been together for so long.
Absolutely.
We're together.
Absolutely. And Michael, I'm very proud to work with you. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, anyone want to move for adjournment?
So move. You need a second. Second.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, say second, only that. Oh, God. Jeez.